Two countries, both in Europe, both offering sunshine, coastlines, incredible food, and a slower, richer pace of life. But only one of them will actually let you live comfortably without watching your savings disappear. The question is, which one is it really? And is the answer as obvious as most people think? Because here's what the travel blogs aren't telling you. Portugal has been the darling of the expat world for nearly a decade. Every best places to retire list, every digital nomad guide, every cost of living YouTube video puts Portugal near the top. And that popularity has come at a price, literally. Meanwhile, Albania has been sitting quietly on the other side of the Adriatic, offering something Portugal used to offer 10 years ago, before everyone found out about it. Today we're putting both countries head-to-head, rent, food, healthcare, lifestyle, safety, and visa rules, so you can make an informed decision based on 2026 numbers, not outdated blog posts. But wait, before we begin, please subscribe to ensure that you never miss out on any of my essential stuff. Comment "I subscribe" below, and I will personally welcome you to our community. With that said, let's get started. Let's start with the number that matters most to most people, rent. In Lisbon, Portugal's capital, a furnished one-bedroom apartment in a decent central neighborhood will cost you between $1,400 and $2,000 per month in 2026. Porto, which used to be the affordable alternative to Lisbon, has caught up fast. Expect $1,100 to $1,600 for a similar setup. Even the Algarve, long marketed as Portugal's budget coastal option, is now pushing $1,000 to $1,400 per month for anything worth living in. Now cross to Albania. In Tirana, a furnished one-bedroom in a modern, central neighborhood runs $300 to $500 per month. On the Albanian Riviera, think Saranda, Era, Ksamil, you're looking at $250 to $400 for a coastal apartment with views that would cost you 4 times as much in southern Portugal. That is not a small difference. That is a life-changing difference. Daniel is 41, a software developer from Canada who spent 2 years in Lisbon before relocating to Tirana in late 2024. In Lisbon, his rent alone was $1,650 a month. His total monthly spend was hovering around $3,800. Today in Tirana, his rent is $420, his total spend is just over $1,000, and he's banking the rest. Portugal was beautiful, he said, but I was working to pay for the lifestyle, not actually living it. Albania flipped that completely. Food is next. And this comparison gets interesting because both countries have genuinely excellent food cultures. The difference is what it costs to access them. In Lisbon or Porto, a sit-down restaurant meal for one, nothing fancy, a local tasca, runs about $15 to $22 including a drink. Monthly groceries for a single person in Portugal average $280 to $350. In Albania, that same sit-down restaurant meal costs $6 to $12. Monthly groceries at local markets, fresh produce, local dairy, meat, bread, run $120 to $150. Albanian food is deeply Mediterranean, influenced by Greek, Italian, and Ottoman traditions. It is not a consolation prize. It is genuinely world-class eating at a fraction of the cost. The honest edge here goes to Portugal for food variety and the dining-out culture in major cities. But Albania closes that gap fast once you discover its food scene, and your wallet will not feel the difference in the same painful way. Healthcare. This is the one category where Portugal has a structural advantage, and it matters. Portugal has a public national health system called the SNS, which gives legal residents access to subsidized healthcare. Quality varies, wait times can be long, but the safety net is real. Private healthcare in Portugal is also widely available and reasonably priced by Western European standards. A private GP visit runs about $50 to $80. Albania's public healthcare system is more limited, but private clinics in Tirana are modern, affordable, and staffed by well-trained doctors, many of whom studied in Italy or Germany. A private consultation in Albania costs $15 to $30. Specialist visits run $30 to $60. Dental care is dramatically cheaper than anywhere in Western Europe. For healthy, working-age expats relying primarily on private care, Albania wins on pure cost. For older expats or those with ongoing health conditions who want a public safety net, Portugal's system offers more security. The smart play in either country is pairing affordable private care with an international health insurance policy from providers like Safety Wing or Cigna Global. Now let's talk visas, because the rules have shifted in 2026 and this affects your decision more than most people realize. Portugal is an EU member, which means if you're from a non-EU country, you need a visa for stays beyond 90 days. Portugal's D8 digital nomad visa and D7 passive income visa remain popular options, but the application process has become more competitive, more expensive, and slower as demand surged. Minimum income requirements for the D7 now sit at roughly $1,300 per month, and Lisbon's cost of living means that minimum barely covers the basics. Albania is not in the EU, and right now, that's actually an advantage. US, UK, Canadian, and Australian citizens can enter visa-free and stay up to 1 year without a visa. Not 90 days. 1 year. Albania's digital nomad residency permit is also available for those wanting longer-term legal status, with a straightforward application process and no minimum income threshold currently enforced. For maximum flexibility with minimum bureaucracy in 2026, Albania has Portugal beat, at least for now. As Albania moves closer to EU integration, these rules will tighten. But right now the door is wide open. Let me stop here for a second, because I want to hear from you. Are you leaning toward Albania or Portugal right now? Drop it in the comments, just Albania or Portugal, and let's see where this community stands. And if you've already lived in either country, tell us what surprised you most. I genuinely read every comment. Now let's talk lifestyle, because the numbers don't tell the whole story. Portugal is polished. Lisbon has world-class restaurants, a booming arts scene, excellent public transport, a massive expat community, and English spoken almost everywhere. It's an easy landing. The infrastructure is familiar, the systems work, and the transition from a Western country feels smooth. Albania is raw. Tirana is changing fast. New restaurants, rooftop bars, co-working spaces, a young and energetic population, but it still has rough edges. Bureaucracy can be frustrating. Not everyone speaks English outside the capital. Road quality outside major cities is inconsistent. These are real trade-offs. But here's what Albania offers that Portugal no longer can: the feeling of being somewhere before everyone else arrives. The hospitality is unscripted and genuine. The community is tight-knit. The coastline, the Albanian Riviera, is arguably more naturally beautiful than the Algarve and a fraction of the price. And there's a sense of possibility there, a frontier energy, that long-time Portugal expats will tell you Lisbon had 10 years ago and has since lost. Elena is 35, a graphic designer from the Netherlands. She spent a year in Porto before spending 6 months in Albania on a comparison experiment she documented on her blog. Her conclusion? Porto gave me comfort. Albania gave me freedom. They're not the same thing. So let's look at the full monthly budget side by side for a single person living comfortably. In Portugal, Lisbon specifically, you're looking at rent around $1,500, utilities $120, groceries $300, eating out $250, transport $50, healthcare and insurance $100, entertainment $100, miscellaneous $80. Total, roughly $2,500 per month. And that's a modest Lisbon life, not a lavish one. In Albania, Tirana, rent $380, utilities $70, groceries $140, eating out $120, transport $35, healthcare and insurance $70, entertainment $60, miscellaneous $50. Total, approximately $925 per month. The same quality of life, same walkable city, same Mediterranean food, same access to nature and coast. Costs roughly 63% less in Albania than in Portugal in 2026. That's not a rounding error. That's the difference between draining your savings and building them. So which one wins? The honest answer is, it depends on what you're optimizing for. Choose Portugal if you want a seamless, familiar transition into European life, a functioning public health system, established expat infrastructure, and you're willing to pay significantly more for that comfort. Portugal is still a beautiful, livable country. It's just no longer a budget destination. Choose Albania if you want to stretch your money further than you thought possible in Europe, you're comfortable with a little less polish in exchange for far more freedom, and you want to be somewhere that still feels like a discovery. Albania in 2026 is what Portugal was in 2014, and the people who moved to Portugal then have never stopped talking about how glad they are they did. Here's what I want you to think about after watching this. Not which country is better, but which version of your life do you actually want? The safe, familiar, expensive version? Or the one that surprises you? Drop your answer in the comments. Albania or Portugal, and why? This is the conversation worth having. If this comparison helped you see things differently, share it with someone who's been going back and forth on a move like this. And subscribe if you haven't yet, because we're just getting started on these deep dive comparisons, and the next one is going to challenge everything you think you know about affordable Europe. See you in the next one.